Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio. We are brought to you by championnews.net, your choice for the conservative voice. This is Ann Parisi. Today, our founder, Jack Roeser, and myself have a very special guest, Mr. Paul McKinley, who is running in the 2nd Congressional District, Jesse Jackson Jr.'s old district. And we were talking about 1956.
1956 is very important.
Why is that?
Because in 1956, Mayor Daley became the mayor, or the first Mayor Daley became the mayor. He didn't run, originally, that was his 2nd time he ran. The first time he ran for a representative in Springfield, and he ran as a Republican. Read the book, it's called The Boss. He won as a Republican because the city of Chicago was a Republican stronghold. In all the black community, they voted Republican.
Chicago was a Republican stronghold.
And the black community was a major part of the Republican stronghold, and they benefited from that. Now, Jack was explaining why they was Republicans. The reason why they was Republicans because the black community had been freed by the Republicans, and the Republicans had put legislation in, the 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, and even after that, to make our laws be adhered to. It was the Dixiecrats down south who put legislation in for the Jim Crow laws. All the Jim Crow laws was put in place with the Dixiecrats in the South. In 1964, blacks were still Republicans. But in the city of Chicago, the black party bosses, with the urging of Mayor Daley, voted for Kennedy as president as a favor to Mayor Daley. And that's how that the blacks became Democrats.
What did Daley offer them?
Well, first of all,
to vote for Kennedy, because I heard that was the most corrupt election, that Daley did carry it for Kennedy, but I mean, I heard there was so much voter fraud and everything else. I guess nothing's changed too much since then. But now explain to me, what did Daley promise the black Republican committeemen, precinct captains, if you will?
Well,
let's give this a little bit of time perspective, because Chicago, as I found out as a young man, was the biggest business dynamo in the whole country. And my experience with it started in 1940 when I first started a company in the city of Chicago, successfully. I did it for a rich man. But Chicago was the dynamo center of business, not only in the United States, but in the whole world. There wasn't a place like Chicago. We led 10 different industries.
Right.
So this was a big dynamo, and the history was the blacks were persecuted in the South. Lincoln was the starting point for getting them on the track to become the people sharing in the wonders of America.
Now let me ask you something.
And so they came to the city, and because why? They were fleeing the still one-sided business
oppression in the South to come here for opportunity for their family.
Those were Dixiecrats.
They were being oppressed by the Democrats in the South.
But their government was Dixiecrats, though. Remember that. They were Dixiecrats. They were called Dixiecrats. They was Democrats. So they fled the South into the North, and in the North they were Republicans. And so when they was in the North, up here in Chicago, like Jack is saying to you, we benefited. We started opening up businesses. So when you went down to our community, 63rd Street or 47th Street, 39th, when you came to our community, we started owning businesses. We started owning hotels. We benefited.
And you were families.
Right.
And you were religious.
That's right.
Big churches in the city, black churches.
Right.
It was a civil,
all this was underneath
community.
the Republicans.
So what happened?
So in 1964,
there was the war on poverty.
No. In 1964, we got behind Kennedy with Mayor Daley. And once Daley put Kennedy in office, the Democrats and Daley turned on the black Republican bosses and ousted them.
Oh boy.
They ousted them, and they put the Democrats in place.
The machine.
They put the machine in place. That's
Now,
right.
Paul,
So
I
that's
know-
what we're dealing with right
They're
now.
also started this giveaway. I mean, how has Obama gotten elected and reelected? It's from giving our tax money away.
It's the war
He's
on
buying
poverty.
the people.
It was the war on poverty that was
But-
done by Johnson, which really tore apart the black family, because if Dad was around, there wasn't the welfare that was able to be gotten
The
either.
projects that you have in the city of Chicago that was on State Street were put in place through the Kennedys. Through the Kennedys and through the war on poverty and through Mayor Daley, which ended up being the wrong. It was never what we asked for. We asked for parity. We asked for inclusion. We did not ask for charity. They did not come get Africans from Africa because we was a lazy people. They came and got us because we was an industrious people and we helped build this country. After this 1865, when we was out of slavery, we wanted parity. We wanted an opportunity to live and benefit in this free society. The democratic system that they put in place made us into it. And go into, and I'm not making this up. Go into in our neighborhoods right now.
He's right.
It's made us into a beggar people. If you go to our community, we don't have any industries. We don't have any job. This is their philosophy. This is what they teach right now. If they say that they helped us, if they said the Democratic Party saying they're helping us, well, stop helping us. We don't need no more help. Don't help us no more.
What
That's
about
right.
violence in
The
community?
help was poisonous. He's right, because they put up those tenements. I well know that. My dad was in the millwork business. First he was a salesman, and he fought his way up from, we're a poor family. But my dad was in millwork when those tenements, as what they became, but those big high-rise buildings that they put the black people into, and they paid them money, and they gave them more money if there wasn't a man in the house.
That's horrible.
They broke up the families
He's
with
telling you
welfare.
Right.
This is the liberal agenda.
Now,
so you
how-
got to I want to make this last statement.
Okay.
If ever there was a people who should never listen to liberals, is my people. Because the liberal agenda was put in place to bust our family up. Then once they bust the family up, then all this other stuff come because you don't have a two-parent household. And they always said, and Jack will remember this here, they said this is an alternative lifestyle. See, when people think of alternative lifestyle, they're thinking a gay lifestyle. Alternative lifestyle means not a man and a woman. That's all it means. It doesn't just mean a gay lifestyle. It means a lifestyle that's not normal. A man and a woman, that's a normal lifestyle. It's an alternative.
To say that they broke the family up deliberately is a very accusative thing, and I think some of the politicians knew that. But it was very easy to take the liberal approach. And the result of that, even not the intention of well-meaning liberals, and there's a lot of well-meaning liberals who are full of crap about what society turns out to be. But when they started giving people money for breaking up the family and for just doing political favors, the thing that followed on it was the total breakup of the family. And a lot of those liberals did that thinking they were doing good.
Well, keep in mind, with any movement, the liberal movement, the women's movement played a huge role in helping to break up the family.
Sure.
Now, you look at what the Democrats have done. Where did they get all this money to? I see it as candy. They were giving out candy. People like the candy, and they still, to this day, they like the candy, they like the entitlements. But candy rots your teeth. And what happened in Chicago is they needed money. And so they went and they raided the businesses, and they taxed the businesses, and they threw regulations on top of the business. The businesses turned up and left. I remember in the early 60s, because I lived in
I'm one
here.
that left.
Yes,
And I
you
can
left.
tell you exactly why
You were
I
in Des
left.
Plaines.
Cook County was engineered by those guys in those days to put power into the politics. How did they do that? Uniquely in Cook County, the businesses pay real estate taxes at 2.5 times the rate of individuals. That's in Lake County where I live, it's the same. All the rest of the counties in this whole state. In Cook County, it's 2.5 times. There's only one assessor that counts in all of Cook County. All of the township assessors, they have no power to change the taxes on it. It all devolves into the Democrat Party in Chicago runs the real estate taxes, and by doing that, they have made all of the big businesses in all of Cook County knuckle under and that's where the money and the political power comes from, is a distortion of the real estate tax.
Boy, we have a lot to talk about. Stay with us, and Paul is going to talk about violence and all kinds of things. Don't go away.